بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وبعد. Continuing along in our book المعقدة السابعة, the 7th chapter, المبادرة إلى تحصيله واغتنام سن الصبا والشباب. So basically rushing to try to achieve knowledge and taking advantage of childhood and early youth, so taking advantage of the time before it's too late. فإن العمر زهرة إما أن تصير بالسلوك المعالي ثمرة وإما أن تبذل وإن مما تثمر به زهرة العمر المبادرة إلى تحصيل العلم وترك الكسل والعجز واغتنام سن الصبا والشباب امتثالا لأمر باستباق الخيرات كما قال الله تعالى فاستبقوا الخيرات. So he's saying that the youth or the age, your lifespan, is basically opportunity for fruits, right? To reap fruits throughout your life. And one of the greatest times to reap the fruit is in your young age. So he's saying to rush in youth to seek knowledge before it's too late. And to stay away from laziness and incapacity and try your best to use your time wisely to achieve knowledge. Following the order of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when He orders us to rush to do goods, فَاسْتَبِقُوا الْخَيْرَاتِ. In Surah Al-Baqarah, ayah 148, Allah says, rush, race to do good deeds, right? So life in general is like a race. From the, cradle to the grave, it's one big race. It could be a sprint, it could be a marathon, but it's a race. And the faster you run in trying to achieve rewards and good deeds, the more you'll benefit from this race. But the race has an end, and you don't know when it's going to come. In a marathon or in a dash, you have like a goal in mind. The end's going to come. You know how much time you have. To win the race, for example. But in life, you don't know. Death can come at any second. So basically, we should be trying and striving throughout our lives to achieve these fruits, right? One of the best things you can achieve and gain is the knowledge. Like the Prophet ﷺ said, take advantage of 5 before 5, right? Your youth before your old age, your health before your sickness, your wealth before your poverty, your free time before you're occupied, and your life before your death, right? So that first part, your youth before your old age, that's what this chapter is about, basically taking advantage of your youth before it's too late and trying to achieve knowledge. And then he quotes the poem, وَإِيَّامَ الْحَدَاثَةِ فَاغْتَنِمْهَا أَلَا إِنَّ الْحَدَاثَةَ لَا تَدُومُ. He said, verily, take advantage of the young age, because the young age will never last. Every single second that passes, you're getting older, and youth is going away. So take advantage of it before it's too late. قال أحمد رحمه الله تعالى ما شبهت الشباب إلا بشيء كان في كمي فسقط. Like he said, he didn't compare the youth to anything except something that was like in his pocket and it dropped and he lost it, basically. It disappeared. So the youth is like this gold that you have in your pocket, but before you realize it, it's gone. You can't get it back. It's too late, right? So take advantage of it. والعلم في سن الشباب أسرع إلى النفس وأقوى تعلق ولصوقا. And knowledge in a young age is dearer to the soul and more feasible that it will stay with the person. Like when you study in a young age, it stays with you longer, it stays with you more. قال الحسن البصري رحمه الله تعالى العلم في الصغر كالنقش في الحجر. That knowledge, seeking knowledge or attaining knowledge in youth is like, carving in the stone. Basically when you put that knowledge in your mind when you're young, at your young age, it's like carving in a stone. It's not going to disappear. It's going to stay there for you, right? فقوة بقاء العلم في الصغر كقوة بقاء النقش في الحجر فمن اغتنم شبابه نال إرباه وحمد عند مشيبه سراه. So he says that, like the knowledge in the youth is as if you're carving in the stone. It's more likely it'll stay with you, so take advantage of your youth before it's too late. And whoever takes advantage of it will be praised for it when he gets older. So if you seek knowledge when you're young and you attain knowledge when you're young, you'll reap the fruits when you're older, and you'll be thankful for it, and people will praise you for it. As the poet said, اغتنم سن الشباب يا فتى عند المشيب يحمد القوم السرى. That he said that take advantage of the youth, O young person, for verily in the old age it will be something that will make you pleased for the people. You will have happiness, or the people will praise you for that. وأضر شيء على الشباب التسويف وطول الأمل فيسوف أحدهم ويركب بحر الأمان ويشتغل بأحلام اليقظة ويحدث نفسه أن الأيام المستقبل ستفرغ له من شواغل وتصفأ من المكادرات والعوائق. So he said that one of the worst things for the youth, or for the people in general, is this idea of like procrastination and false hopes or daydreaming that you're not really trying to achieve. You know, the ones that say to themselves, you know, in the future I'm going to do this, I'm going to read this book, I'm going to memorize this, I'm going to do, you know, sit with this person and study, I'm going to, you know, all these goals and all these things, but it's basically just daydreams because he's not taking any action to achieve it. So the procrastination is one of the worst enemies of the youth, right? Because he thinks he has time when he gets older. You know, oh, I'll do this next year, or in a couple months I'll start. And then how many times for ourselves have we had set goals and we keep putting it, you know, delaying it, procrastinating, delaying it, and then you see months have passed, maybe years have passed, and you haven't even started. That's one of the tricks of the shaitan, to get you to procrastinate, right? So always in Islam you try to do something and be continuous in it. أحب الأعمال إلى الله عز وجل أدومها وإن قل. The most, you know, beloved deeds to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are those that are continuously done, even if they are little. So if you start, or if you have a goal to achieve something, start. You know, don't delay it, don't push it forward. Because when you get older, the more older you get, the more responsibilities that come to you, right? You know, when we were young, we always said, oh, I can't wait till I drive and get the license and have a car. Then you get your car, then all of a sudden you have to start helping out with buying groceries and picking up your siblings, or driving, you know, other things, right? So responsibilities increase. Oh, I can't wait till I go to college and, you know, start becoming an adult. Then you start getting classes, and you start getting jobs, and you start, you know, all your time is getting occupied. Then you get married, then you have kids, then, you know, it just keeps getting more and more. So that's why the scholars are so keen on encouraging the youth to study and seek knowledge before they get these responsibilities and things that keep your mind occupied. والحال المنظورة أن من كبرت سنه كثرت شواغله وعظمت قواطعه مع ضعف الجسم ووهن القوى. He said that, so one of, like I was just saying, that the scholars warn about for, you know, not waiting too late to seek knowledge, is because you start getting too many responsibilities and works, and also you have to take into account the capability of your mind and of your body. You know, when you're younger, usually the mind is stronger and more able to memorize and to attain knowledge, and you have more free time. But as you get older, this time, as I said, dissipates because of your responsibilities, and also your physical, sometimes the people, they physically decline. They don't have the strength that they had when they were younger. You know, they don't have the focus sometimes. They don't have the, you know, stamina, right? So the younger you are, don't delay it. Always, you know, strive to get this beneficial knowledge before it's too late, and implement it and teach it and memorize it. ولن تدرك الغايات العظمى بالتلهف وترجي وتمني. And you'll never achieve the great goals with just hoping and aspirations and daydreaming, right? When you want to achieve something great, you have to put work into it, no matter what it is. It requires work, you know, from the deen or from the dunya. Jannah is not cheap, you know. ألا سيرة الله الغارية. You know, the product of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is very expensive. ألا هي الجنة. Verily it is Jannah, right? It takes ibadat, working, now, you know, worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala until the death to get into Jannah. You know, establishing the faith in your heart. Knowledge, if you want to be successful in knowledge, it takes work. You know, all these great scholars that we look up to, they didn't just, knowledge didn't just come to them and they were, you know, scholars all of a sudden. No, they put in hours and hours of work, right? Like Imam al-Nawawi rahimahullah, it's reported in many of his tarajim, you know, histories or biographies of him, how he was in a young age, that he would cry because the kids wanted him to go play with them, and he would cry because he wanted to memorize the Quran. Like he felt bad leaving memorizing the Quran, even though he was a kid and it was time for playing, but he felt bad that I would leave the Quran to go and play, and he would actually cry, right? And it was reported that when he was seeking knowledge, he would take 12 classes a day, and that's not just like we take them and sit and go. He would take them and then he prepare for them. So imagine if he's taking 12 classes, about 12 hours, and then he studies an hour or prepares an hour for each class. Where's his time for sleep? That's why it's reported he slept sometimes. He wouldn't sleep, or he would sleep sitting up until sleep overtook him on his books. He would put his head down upon the book, and then he'd get up and keep studying, right? And he'd only eat one meal a day, right? That's why he has some of the most influential books in the history of Islam. Wallahu alam, because of his sincerity, of his ikhlas, and the hard work he put in. He only lived to the early 40s, but his works are like the greatest works in fiqh and hadith, and all the Shafi'i, he's like a marja in the Shafi'i madhab. All the Shafi'iyah, they go back to him for the qawl sahih fil madhab. And then he even wrote a bigger work that compares all the madhab. And his sharh of Sahih Muslim is one of the best explanations of Sahih Muslim. And he has written Arba'in Nawawiyah that how many millions and millions of people have memorized around the world, right? And the Riyadh al-Salihin, almost every Muslim home has that in their house, right? All these works, and he lived such a short time, but he put in work. He strived from an early age until he died, right? Rahimahullah ta'ala. ولست بمدرك ما فات مني بالهف ولا بالليت ولا لو أنني. He's saying that basically you're not going to achieve anything. This poet is saying you're not going to achieve anything by sitting down saying I wish I could, or I wish I did, or I wish I will. You're not going to achieve anything. You're not going to reach your goal by saying that. You have to put in the effort and work for it to achieve your goal. ولا يتوهم مما سبق أن الكبير لا يتعلم بل هؤلاء أصحاب رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم تعلموا كبارا كما ذكره البخاري رحمه الله تعالى في كتاب العلم من صحيحه وإنما يعسر تعلم في الكبر كما بينه المواردي في آداب الدنيا والدين. So he's saying also we should not despair or think that from what we just we just went over, that you cannot achieve knowledge in your older age, because he said many of the companions of the Prophet ﷺ were much older and they achieved great knowledge, right? As Imam Bukhari has mentioned in his book of knowledge in his Sahih, that this is a case of many of the companions that they sought knowledge in older age. The Prophet ﷺ, when did he receive the wahi? Reported what age? At age 40. And he memorized obviously the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he taught all the Sahaba, and he is the greatest of scholars of the dunya, and he's the Prophet ﷺ. So he also had companions that were big. And if you look into the history and the biographies of the scholars and the Salaf and the pious people of old, you'll find many stories, mashallah, of those that started when they were much older. Like Al-Qaffal, he was known to be a locksmith throughout his life, and then he started seeking knowledge, and he became one of the greatest scholars, and also the Shafi'i madhab, it turns out. Imam Ibn Hazm, it's reported that he didn't start seeking knowledge until he was older as well. The story that's narrated, the popular story is that he was kind of like a rich, princely type person that grew up in luxury, and he wasn't that practicing, they say, or that religious, so to speak. So one day he wanted to go to the masjid, and he went and sat down waiting for, I think it was Dhuhr or one of the prayers, and the person came and poked him, saying, what are you doing? You're supposed to pray 2 rak'ahs before you sit down. So he got up, kind of embarrassed, and he prayed 2 rak'ahs. And then the next day he came, and this time I think it was after Asr, and this time he's like, okay, when I go in the masjid I have to pray 2 rak'ahs. And he was in Andalus in Spain, so that's like the Malikis mostly there, which they say is forbidden to pray after Asr until the sun has set. So he goes in the masjid thinking he's got it this time, he prays 2 rak'ahs, and then a guy comes to him and says, what are you doing? You're not supposed to pray this time. It's after Asr. And he was kind of embarrassed again. He's saying, subhanAllah, these kind of ignorant people are telling me about my deen and I don't even know about it. So it says he went back and he studied, and he became one of the greatest scholars of Islam, to the point where he could have started his own madhab, right?
So you don't pray even the 2 Tahiyat al-Masjid?
According to the Malikiyya, no, you don't pray after Asr until Maghrib, or after Fajr until the sun has gone up, yeah. To the other madhab, if you have a reason to pray, it's okay. Yeah, but he was living, in Andalus at the time, so that's why. Also, there's, Ibn Uthaymeen, rahimahullah, also used to encourage the people, like even a lot of people would ask him, what should I still study? I'm older, and of course he would answer, yes, of course, it's never too late to learn something, right? It's just better when you're younger because you don't have too many being occupied, too many responsibilities. So, and he even says now, the Imam, وإنما يعسر التعلم في الكبر كما بينه الموارد في آداب الدنيا والدين لكثرة الشواغل وغلب القواطع وتكاثر العلائق فمن قدر على دفعها عن نفسه أدرك العلم. So he said the reason that they said that it's difficult to seek knowledge when you're older is because of so much business and occupation and distractions and family relations and stuff like that. But if you are able to put that to the side and still spend time to seek knowledge, then you can do it. You can still reach knowledge. Some Sahaba, for example, they were older and they had business and stuff, but they were able to put their business to the side or have somebody run it, and they would go and sit with the Prophet ﷺ and seek knowledge. And so if you have the means and the capabilities, you can still seek knowledge. وقد وقع هذا لجماعة من النبلاء طلبوا العلم كبارا فأدركوا منه قدرا عظيما منهم القفال الشافعي. And he said this has happened with many of the great scholars of the past. They started seeking knowledge in an older age and they became great scholars. So it's not impossible, right? It's just they put in the effort, they had the means, and they cut off their occupying times with beneficial knowledge. And I remember when I was studying in Egypt, there was a sheikh, he told us, an old man that was blind came to him, and he said the man must have been in his late 70s or something very up there, mashallah, and he was blind. And he came to him and he said, I want to memorize the Quran. And the sheikh was like, you're older and you're blind and it's difficult, and it's okay, inshallah, you can try, but it's not that it's not fard upon you, it's not obligatory. And he said, no, I want to memorize the Quran. It's your duty to teach me. I'm asking you as imam of this masjid and a person that memorizes the Quran to teach me the Quran. So the sheikh gave him time, and he basically, what he would do is he would take a couple of ayats and he would use the sabha, and he'd just keep repeating it throughout the day, right? And then he started having the capability to take more ayats. And then they said that he finished the whole Quran, mashallah, in that old age. And there's many stories like that. So it's never too late to learn. If you're sincere for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهِ وَيُعَلِّمَكُمُ اللَّهِ. If you have true taqwa of Allah, Allah will teach you. Allah will give you knowledge. Allah will benefit you, right? Just the main point is cleansing our hearts from the sins and having confidence in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He will teach us knowledge, and being sincere and making dua and putting in the work and striving to achieve it. Not delaying, not procrastinating. Make it a goal. If you put in, break down books into times of the day, times of your life, and you can achieve a lot. If you see how these super successful people, even in the dunya, not talking about the deen, but how many books they read on average, right? Like the CEOs and the presidents of companies and a lot of successful people, they read on average a book a week. These are the successful people, because those books are basically sometimes lifetimes of experience condensed into 200 to 300 pages. So instead of you having to take a lifetime to learn something, you can just pick up a book and learn it in less than a couple of hours a week, right? And imagine the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we have His words in front of us that we can read, the greatest lessons of life, or the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the Sahaba, and the ahadith that we have and we can read and be in a part of our lives. So the more you put in terms of reading and memorizing and understanding, the more you will benefit, inshallah. So the main point of the chapter is to take advantage of your young age before you get older. And even if you get older and you're older, it's never too late to learn. You just put in the work and the effort, inshallah, and Allah will bless you with knowledge. And we'll stop on this chapter because I know some people are fasting or were fasting and they want to break their fast. So inshallah we'll continue next week with the next chapter. Jazakumullah khairan. If you have any questions or comments, tafaddalu. No? Alhamdulillah. Okay, subhanakallah bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant Astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Jazakumullah khair. So just one example too for us. See, like, even though we're just meeting once a week, in like limited time, we've already finished, a classic book that's several hundred pages. Just imagine, with explanation and conversation. Like Ibn Qayyim's Da'wah, we finished that, alhamdulillah. This book will finish soon, inshallah, and we'll keep going and finishing books. So just something that's, being consistent, even if it's just a little thing, you get much blessings and you accomplish much, especially like in this atmosphere, alhamdulillah, every step you take to the masjid, you're getting rewards for it. Sitting in the masjid waiting, you're getting rewards for it. The malaika are making dua for you, and it helps each other, help each other, encouraging us to seek knowledge and study the books that were handed down to us. So Jazakumullah khair, like for you guys coming out also encourages me to study, so Jazakumullah khair.